Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Dhena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine.
Vishnu Padaya Krishna Peshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine.
Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Jashtotarasta Shishimad Bhai Charanada Vind Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Jashtotarasta Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavini Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premsika Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gokupinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Samveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Haribo. So we'll begin with the Achmana. So I will say a prayer whose translation is that whatever state we're in now, pure or impure, when we remember the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we become purified both inwardly and outwardly. So please repeat. We'll do this 3 times. Om Apavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastan Gatopiva Yasmare Pundarikaksham Sababhya Abhyantara Shuchihi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. And then you'll hold, okay, you know what to do. Put the water in the right palm, please. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Om Apavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastan Gatopiva Yasmare Pundarikaksham Savabhya Abhyantara Shuchihi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. Again, please. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Om Apavitra Pavitrova Sarvavasta Gatopiva Yasmare Pundarikaksham Savabhya Abhyantara Shuchihi Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha. The Brahma Samhita was spoken by Lord Brahma at the beginning of creation after he realized his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and saw for himself the spiritual world. And it is a verse that is much beloved by the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, as it was brought to light by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself after finding the manuscript in the Adikeshava temple in South India. He had it copied, of course not at a Kinko's but by hand, and passed on to all his favorite disciples. And it's been passed down to this very day. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur asked his disciples to recite it as a regular daily function. Srila Prabhupada took that seriously and incorporated it into the morning program in ISKCON. We do the verses when we greet the deities. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. And in 1975, when I was in Chicago, there was a very large initiation ceremony, and a devotee there who was always a little ahead of his time had made available, which was not very readily available at that time, the Brahma Samhita and the Purusha Sukta mantra. And he gathered a group of us together to learn how to say it and repeat it at the initiation ceremony. And afterwards, Prabhupada said that he really liked it and that we should do it at all the initiation ceremonies. So we've tried to keep that tradition going. So now, to follow along, we have Loka. What have we done so they can follow along? How will they follow along? Okay, our phone's okay. So dial in 1-800 Brahma Samhita or what? Well, how should they get on their phone?
Just go on the Google and Brahma Samhita lyrics.
Oh, okay. Just Google it. ISKCONDesiretree.com, and there you will find Brahma Samhita if you search for it. Okay. No, I don't. Okay. Loka, how is the temperature in this room, in your opinion? That was a question. How is the temperature for all of you? Are you too hot, too cold, or just right?
Just right.
What? Hot. It could go down a little bit, if it's possible. We have nothing against air. Okay. Some of you aren't even looking, so I know you already memorized the Brahma Samhita. Well done, thank you. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sakshit Ananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakada Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govinda Mari Purusham Dhamaham Bhajami Venam Kwanantam Adavindam Galaya Taksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govinda Mari Purusham Dhamaham Bhajami Alola Chandra Kala Sadvana Malya Vamshi Ratnangadam Pranaya Keli Kalavilasham Shamantri Bangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govinda Mari Purusham Dhamaham Bhajami Anjayasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sujujvala Vigrahasya Govinda Mari Purusham Bhajami Advaitam Achutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayauvanam Cha Vedeshu Dulama Madulama Matma Bhaktao Govinda Mari Purusham Dhamaham Bhajami Pantastu Koti Shatavatsara Sampragamyo Vayo Datapi Manaso Muni Pungavanam Sopyasti Yatra Parasinya Vichintya Tatve Govinda Mari Purusham Dhamaham Bhajami Ekopya Saura Charitam Jagadanda Kotim Koti Chakti Chakananda Chayaya Danta Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govinda Mari Purusham Dhamaham Bhajami Yad Bhava Pavitariyo Manuchastataiva Samprapya Rupa Mahima Shayanana Bhusha Suktaya Neva Nigama Pratitaistu Banti Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavis Tabirya Eva Nijarupata Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Premanjana Chudita Bhakti Vilochanena Santaksadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ramadi Murti Shukalani Amena Tishtan Nanavataram Akaro Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Parama Pumanyo Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Koti Shashesha Vasudari Vibhuti Bhinam Tad Brahma Nishkalamanantam Ashesha Bhutam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Maya Hiyasya Jagadanda Shatani Sute Traigunya Tad Vishaya Veda Hitaya Mana Sattva Valam Sattvam Vishuddha Sattvam Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ananda Chinmaya Rasatmataya Manasu Ya Praninam Pratipalam Smarutam Upetya Lilayatena Bhuvanani Jayatya Jastram Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Golokanamni Nijadamni Tale Tatasya Devi Mahesha Haridama Suteshu Teshu Tete Prabhava Nijaya Vihitascha Yena Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Kristi Stiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharati Durga Icharurupam Api Yasya Chacheshtate Sa Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Shiranyatara Vikara Vishesha Yoga Sanjayate Nahitatah Pratagasti Heto Yasham Bhutam Apitata Samupaiti Karyat Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Diparcha Eva Hidashantanam Abhyapetya Dipayate Brahmata Hetu Samana Dharma Yastadrigeva Hicha Vishnu Chayabhibhati Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yakkaranarna Bhajale Bhajati Sma Yoga Nidramananta Jagadanda Saroma Kupaha Adhara Shaktim Avalambya Param Smamurtim Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yashaika Nishthisitakalam Atavalambya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagadandanata Vishnur Mahansa Ihayasya Kalavishesho Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Asman Yatasma Sakaleshu Nijeshu Teja Swiyam Kiyak Prakatayata Vitadvadatra Brahmaya Esha Jagadanda Vidhana Karta Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yakpada Pallava Yugam Vinidaya Kumbha Grande Pranama Samaye Saganadi Raja Vignan Vihantamalamasya Jagatrayasya Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Agnir Mahaikanganamamurudishascha Kalastatatma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasmad Bhavanti Vibhavanti Vishanti Yamcha Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yakshakshadesha Sapita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Tejaha Yasyagnaya Brahmati Sambrata Kala Chakro Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Dharmota Papa Nichaya Shutayastapansi Kamari Kita Patagavadayascha Jivaha Yadatra Matra Vibhava Prakata Prabhava Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yastvindra Gopa Matavindra Mahosa Karma Bandhana Rupa Palabhajanam Atanoti Karmani Nirdahati Kintu Bhakti Bhajam Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yam Krodha Kama Sahaja Pranayari Bhiti Vatsalya Moha Kuru Gaurava Sevya Bhavai Sanchintya Tassa Sadrishyam Tadamapurete Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindamari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Sriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Druma Bhumishchintamani Ganamayi Toyamamritam Tata Ganam Natyam Dhamanam Api Vamshi Priyasaki Chidanandam Jyoti Paramapi Taraswadyam Apicha Sayatra Shiradhi Sravati Surabhibhya Shasumaha Nimesha Jakyo Vajati Nahi Atrapi Samayaha Vaje Shveta Dvipam Tamaham Iha Golokamitiyam Vidantaste Shantakshiti Viralachara Katipaye Ishvara Parama Krishna Sakchirananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Tisri Brahma Samhita Sampurnam Hari Om. Now we have some neck beads for the two first initiates, and somebody would please assist. And somebody come and put neck beads on, help put Anita's.
Vidarbha's coming to do it.
Vidarbha's coming. So this is wearing neck beads. Of course, anywhere you go in the world, if you walk around with neck beads on, somebody somewhere will come up and say, Haribol. And one of the reasons that one wears neck beads and tilak is to remind other people of your vow in Krishna consciousness. Urdhva Pundra, the second stage of initiation, is to outwardly portray oneself as a Vaishnava by wearing the tilak and the neck beads and identifying oneself with the Vaishnavas. So this is a quintessential Vaishnav insignia or part of the dress, which is to wear the neck beads. Those who are aspiring for initiation wear one strand, and those who, or two strands, and those who are initiated wear three. At least that's become the custom in ISKCON. And Prabhupada also described it as kind of a collar. The Vaishnavas keeping themselves very humble, like as Bhaktivinoda Thakur once wrote in a bhajan that let my position be that of a dog of a Vaishnav, and I will stay on the back porch, and whatever scraps the Vaishnavas throw over the edge, I'll gladly take those. And if anybody comes to disturb them, then I'll scare them away. And so he taught us also we can think of ourselves like that, as we're wearing this as kind of a collar, a reminder that we're the servant of the servant of the servant. So it's an honor and a privilege to wear the Vaishnava dress. So we should set a good example anytime, anywhere we go. Let's be ideal in our behavior. First, I offer my respectful obeisances to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and to all the devotees who are present here today. And today, some of you will be taking first initiation and others will be taking what we call second initiation. So just a little bit about that. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes in his essay about the process of initiation, he describes as being in 5 stages or steps. The first is called tapa, which means a growing awareness that the material world is not my home. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Abrahma bhuvanaloka punar avartinorjuna. That's from the topmost planet, the material world, down to the lowest. All are places of misery. And it's a place where repeated birth and death takes place. And he also says that one may come to an awareness that that life has a higher purpose after many births and deaths, and come to this understanding that I don't want to stay here anymore in the material world. And one begins to turn away from one's old habits, which are foundationally rooted in an idea that I'm the enjoyer of the world. And one begins to think more in terms of, I'm a servitor of God. And my main purpose in life is to develop love for God. This stage called tapa is the first stage as one's moving towards initiation. The second stage I mentioned just a moment ago as pondra, which is also refers to urdhva pundra, which means wearing the lines of tilak to designate oneself as a Vaishnava. One begins to show oneself outwardly as a Vaishnava. In tapa, one identifies oneself inwardly as a Vaishnava, and in the second stage, one begins to show everyone else that this is the lifestyle I've chosen, that I'm a devotee aspiring to become an eternal servant of Krishna. And of course, when one has such a desire, this is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that there's a progression of events that take place when we first desire this. And it's described that first there's this growing faith within the heart. As I described before, it's called Shraddha, that the purpose of my life is to serve God. Adau Shraddha. And then Tasura Sangha, the next thing that happens is one wants to associate with devotees. This is natural. One seeks out the association of those who are like-minded in their desire to attain Krishna consciousness. And inevitably, if one associates with devotees, then one will come to bhajana kriya, which means that one will take up the process of devotional service and make some vows, like you are all going to do today. The first initiates will be taking some very preliminary vows having to do with chanting and avoiding the 4 prohibited activities. And the second initiates will be vowing to chant the Gayatri mantras 3 times a day. This is called bhajana kriya, along with other processes of devotional service, tat tat karma pravartana, following the various activities that are prescribed by the previous acharyas. And from there, as one follows, one comes to the stage of anartha nivritti, which means the great time of purification, as one moves towards one's practice, becomes more absorbed in one's practice, then one starts to notice the obstacles that one has within one's heart. And although I'm speeding through these, they may take some time, each one of the processes. But after anartha nivritti, one comes to the stage of nishta. And nishta bhakti means that one feels steady. That is no longer pushed by the lower urges. One is able to stand on one's own 2 feet in devotional service. In fact, the word nishta is cognate in English with the word stand. To be able to stand on one's own feet, 2 feet, without being moved. And from there, one can move into the other stages of bhakti, which include tasting very deeply the meanings of the Srimad Bhagavatam and having a taste for the holy name, for chanting. And there are greater and greater stages of advancement, which are described as the thickening of faith, that started as a seed because of unknown association, and then it becomes known association, and then one takes vows like you are today. So this is first stage tapa, then pamdra. And when one takes this bhajana kriya, as I mentioned, vows to continue and really seriously take up devotional service, then the first initiation, or the first stage of vows one will take in our ISKCON movement is called nama, Harinam. We're, after studying very deeply, those who are taking first initiation in ISKCON have been around for a year or 2 at least, have been studying the philosophy, reading, hearing. They've taken a course about what it means to have a relationship with a spiritual master and how that relates to the overall cooperation within the institution of ISKCON and so forth. So there's not a lot of surprises. And then also that they have some well-reasoned faith. It's not sentimental. They're not just following some person or feeling like they're jumping in because everyone else is. But they have a sense that there is a way in which God wants to show himself to me. And that's the way that happens is up to me, because I have to prepare myself. It's not that God at any time wants to hide himself from the devotee. In fact, the 7th canto says of the Srimad Bhagavatam that really it's our initiative in preparing ourselves to receive the mercy of God that determines how advanced we become in devotional service. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is also described by Srila Prabhupada as our appreciating capacity. When we are in lower forms of life, and according to the teachings of the Bhagavatam and other transcendental literatures, we have tasted what it's like to be in other bodies. And in those lower forms of life, we don't have the wherewithal to aspire for God consciousness. But the human form of life is a quantum leap in giving us capacity to inquire about and self-determinedly develop our own capacity to understand God. So this is called, or what I'd like to call, the appreciating capacity. So really the cultivation that we do, the vows that you take today in Harinam, and the dedication that you have to your vows are about increasing your appreciating capacity. And Prabhupada writes in his commentaries on Queen Kunti that if it's a sunny day, you can take advantage of it, or you can go in your house and close all the shades and not let any light in. In which case, you won't be able to enjoy the benefits of the sunshine. That's pretty simple and logical, isn't it? So in a similar way, we have an opportunity to take advantage of the descending mercy of the Lord. And this Harinam is a way in which we avail ourselves to that mercy. In Harinam, this first initiation, we take vows that we will make the chanting of the holy name, especially a minimum number, which is called numerical strength. There's a number we pick given to us by our founder Acharya that we won't go below no matter what. And we stick to that. That's the minimum. And so we vow for that, understanding that through the process of chanting Hare Krishna in a prayerful way, avoiding offenses while doing that, that everything else will be revealed to us. In fact, the Vedas say so many astounding things about the potency of God's name. And one of the things is very helpful because it can help direct us in times when our mind wanders and thinks, maybe I'll do something else. The Padma Purana says, Atashi Krishna namadi na bhaved grayamindriye sevan mukhi hi jivado swayam eva spuratyatra. And this is that yoga begins with the tongue. And goes on to say, does the verse, that when you do service to God, then He'll be eager to reveal Himself to you. And He'll inform you about who He is, naturally. And the service that you start with, it says, begins with your tongue. So you start your service with your tongue. So this is your first duty, to serve God with your tongue. I had a realization about this on the way down here. We were in Toronto before this, and yesterday we had to stop for an interview in the Toronto airport with the people that run the Nexus, which is a government agency that does a thorough background check on you. And if they find out that you're seemingly trustworthy, that they'll issue you a card, so whenever you come into the country in Canada, then they don't have to pat you down so much. They just let you come in because they already patted you down really hard. And so they do this whole background check, and before we went in to the background check, it's our second time still, I was thinking, well, I'm not going to be, just blurt out everything. Whatever they ask me, I'll answer dutifully and very truthfully. But it's not that I'm going to volunteer a lot of extra information, because I don't know what they'll do with it. I mean, I'm sure they're very nice people and trustworthy and everything like that. I just don't know them that well. So, when they asked questions, I said, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, okay, yes, 1, 2, 5, 2, whatever it is, I just told them. And when I left there, I thought, why was I so reticent about, why didn't I just tell them about my whole life and explain everything that I do, even my faults? And I thought, well, I really don't know them. I don't trust them that much, therefore, so I didn't say that much. And I thought, who would I tell those things to? And not very many people. There's not very many people, even amongst my friends, that I actually tell them everything about me and all my foibles. And so I thought of that in relationship to the relationship we have with Krishna, and that is that He would be a little reticent to reveal His secrets to somebody who was not trustworthy. And then this morning we were having a conversation here, and someone said, well, how do you have a trusting relationship? And I thought about it, and my answer was that it takes time. In any relationship, over time, when one sees consistency in the person that you're relating to, you start to develop trust. It's not something that can be rushed. You can't hurry love, my mama said. And it's something that takes time. And you have to see the person over, in situations where that person is pressed, where normally a person could make an excuse or lie or whatever, And if they remain steady, you start to see, oh, I actually trust this person. So same thing when we take vows. We have an opportunity to put a marker down and say, I'm going to prove myself. And people say, can you show me God? But we say, can we show ourselves to God? Can we open ourselves and be vulnerable and actually prove ourselves? So this is a great project, because we might have other plans and other ideas. Or I might be devious. I might show one thing externally, but internally I'll show something else. But it doesn't work with Krishna because he already knows what your intentions are internally. So that's kind of an interesting prospect also for the one who knows us best and is witnessing our psychic movements. Therefore, this Harinam initiation is a highly authorized way in which to develop not only one's appreciating capacity, but to develop a trusting relationship with Krishna through proving yourself through this vow of chanting Hare Krishna. And also practicing restraint, delaying gratification, cultivating knowledge about consequences in this life, and being responsible, not to do things that harm other people and that harm ourselves. And that this is kind of a sober life that when mixed with the process of taking in transcendental sound, offering sincere prayers, it can actually combust and turn into something really wonderful. So you have to balance the two things. Being careful about how you move in the world, what kind of things you listen to, what type of things you eat, and so forth. And at the same time, being very prayerful and dedicating your tongue in service to the Lord through the chanting of the Mahamantra 16 rounds, keeping it as the centerpiece of your life. All the other activities can work around that, and that doesn't get compromised. So for those who take this first initiation and take it seriously, those people who do that can advance rapidly and come to a profound platform of realization and devotional service. So that is called Nama. And when you accept the vow to chant the name and vow to follow four regulative principles, which Prabhupada brilliantly introduced to the world, because people are really dying for something like that. And left to their own devices, people do things like set up duty-free shops in airports where you can only buy cigarettes, whiskey, and perfume. And the whole world's stocked full of stuff like that. I mean, we really veer off in strange directions left to our own devices. So this is a very merciful proposition to offer people a chance to make a vow that I'll be careful about the way I move in the world. So in Nama, we also have a restart where we get to change our name too. So this is a kind of surrender that I give up my old name, and it's a realization also that the whole naming process that took place in the first place when I was born was a little whimsical. I mean, I came out and I didn't know who my parents were, and they really honestly don't know who I am. And if you think about it, as souls, they really had very little to do with me being born in the world except for the act of conception. They didn't create the fluid or the body or anything else. They just watch you pop out and then they say, hey, that's ours. And then they slap a name tag on you. They say, here's your new name. You put a little name tag, and that's a little kind of, according to the Bhagavatam, to use kind of, abrupt language. It's just charade, really, that I'm going around saying, I'm this body. Well, who are you? I'm my body, too. And on basis of that, we make friends and enemies and go through an illusory kind of life. So in Nama, we have a naming process where you get a new name from your spiritual master. And of course, as you all know, I like to compare that to the federal witness protection process in the United States, where if a criminal is flipped on the mob, which we see a lot of nowadays, then they can go to the government, take shelter, and then the government will give them a new place to live and a new name, so nobody can find them. So we do that too. So you take the name Das or Dasi, and then when Maya looks through her database, well, what happened? No more passport, no more address. They're just gone. So this is a kind of demonstratively taking shelter of the Lord and identifying in a different way that I'm part of Krishna's family. And after one has practiced devotional service very sincerely and steadily, chanting the minimum of 16 rounds every day, following the 4 regular principles, we also, following Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and Srila Prabhupada, have this requirement of studying the philosophy of Krishna consciousness in Prabhupada's books very carefully. At a very minimum, before one takes the Brahminical initiation, one should have studied and passed the Bhakti Shastri, which is it's kind of a summary study of a few of the books. It forces you to go through some of the books and be a little regimented in reading, and then you can get a basic idea of the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, Shishopanishad, and a few of the other books. Because those who take second initiation, they're called brahmanas, and they should have knowledge to pass on to others, and enough so that they know themselves how to justify the process of Krishna consciousness. So after the Harinam initiation, and one has been very steady and proved oneself to be steady, and has taken the Bhakti Shastri, and has shown good character as a person who cooperates and does service and so forth, then one takes second initiation, this Diksha. It is described as a bona fide process for connecting with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Shastra, it says that it is just like a process, alchemical process, that when there is a mystical way in which one can take a base metal like bell metal and turn it into gold through mystic yoga. The yogis used to be able to swallow mercury and process it in their body such a way that then when they would excrete that through their urine, they would mix it with the bell metal and it would turn into gold. So the verse says, Yata kanchanata yati kamsam grasa vidanata tata diksha vidanena dvijatam jayatendrinam. That the process of second initiation is like this process of turning bell metal into gold. That when one takes the initiation, Yata kanchanata yati kamsam vidanataha, one follows the authorized process and then becomes transformed. And of course, there's a controversy about this because as in any religious culture, people claim entitlement after a certain amount of time of enjoying the benefits of priesthood. And they say, hey, wait a minute, we're the priests and you guys follow us. And then some reformer comes along and says, no, we're all part of God, therefore we all have the right to advance and also become worthy in the eyes of God through the process. Why not? So in a similar way, over many, many decades, a controversy developed in India that only if you're born in the family of a brahmana can you be considered a brahmana. And when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur began giving Brahminical initiation to people who weren't from Brahmin families, there was a huge pushback. In fact, they tried to assassinate him On one parikram, there were people who were hired to throw stones and things like that to try to kill him. And there were many other threats, and philosophically he defeated them all. There's ample evidence in our Shastras, especially I can quote now from the Srimad Bhagavatam, in which Devahuti says that Ahobata shwapa chato gariyan ya jiva grevartate namatubhyam tepus tapaste juhuvu sasna arya brahmana churnama grananti ete. She says how wonderful it is that simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, and she stresses that even if it's a little bit you chant, that such a person is transformed and becomes qualified as a brahmana. This means that even the physical body of a person who chants the holy names becomes transformed and is no longer in a material state. The material state of the body is a result of our previous karma, therefore it's referred to as prarabdha. The fully manifest result of our previous karma comes out as this body. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Shariram yaravapnoti yachat yukramatishvara grihitvaitani samyati vayor gandham ibashaya shotram chakshu sparshanam cha rasanam granam evacha hadishtayam manaschayam vishayan upasevate. He describes how by the state of our consciousness we're carried from one physical body to the next, and that body is perfectly suited for us because of our what we deserve, because of our consciousness. It's really our desire, and material nature is accommodating us. And when we come into the material world, it's due to momentum, my interaction with material nature and the way I've developed my consciousness. However, that state of material existence becomes transformed. And we have examples of this, how material elements can become transformed. Is everyone okay?
Yes.
Comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a little bit more. As we see, for instance, an iron rod, if you place it in fire and you leave it long enough, it will transform into fire. And similarly, the body of the practitioner who takes second initiation, the implication is, or still I'm on Devahuti, sorry, she says that a person who chants Hare Krishna, this is so purifying that by the chanting of the holy name, even uttering it one time, one's prarabdha karma becomes destroyed. And when one takes initiation in the process of devotional service, one is no longer considered to have a material body, says Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatan and Haridas Thakur in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Anjalila. He says that now we have a sadhaka deha, or a practitioner's body, and it's no longer a result of our previous karma. So there's a transformation that takes place by this process. Vidanataha means by a scientific process. So the scientific process is called diksha, and that's what the second initiation means. We prepare ourselves by chanting Hare Krishna. Yad Brahma Sakshat Krita Nishchayapi Vinashamayati Vinada Bogai Apaiti Nama Spuranina Tate Prarabdha Karmeti Virauti Vedaha. Rupa Goswami writes in his Namashtakam that all the Vedas say this, that by chanting Hare Krishna we can destroy all of our previous karma and our body becomes different. So this entering into second initiation diksha is the means of transformation, and it is an authorized process. And it requires the consent of a spiritual master, as much as if you're going to get a degree from a university, even if you do it online, you're still going to have to have somebody sign off on it. And this is required in the process of initiation, that you have a personal relationship with a spiritual master. Part of the proof of that is, in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, there's a description of the process of initiation, which describes that there are inauspicious and auspicious times in which to hold an initiation ceremony. Our pundit here knows all about this. And he goes on to describe all the auspicious and inauspicious times. And for us, with our busy schedules and so many other things going on, finding an auspicious time and all being there at the same time would be practically impossible. But not to worry, because at the very end of the whole list, he says, the best time to hold the initiation or to accept Diksha from a spiritual master is when the spiritual master decides and says it's time to take initiation. All the others are subordinate to that, which indicates that there is a personal relationship with the guru who gives the initiation. And it's a very heartfelt process, as described in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. When Krishna is taking birth, he's transferred from the mind and then the heart of Vasudeva to the mind and heart of Devaki. And our acharyas describe this as the process of Diksha, that actually Krishna is entering within the heart. And this is confirmed also by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita when he says, Diksha Kali, Bhakta Kari, Atma Samarpan, She Kali, Krishna Tari, Kari Atma Sam. That when one accepts Diksha, it's actually a sign of a demonstration of one's surrender, samarpana, completely giving oneself to the Lord. He says that at that time, She Kali, at that time, Krishna Tari, Kari Atmasam, Krishna considers that this person is as good as me. Obviously not in quantity, but in quality. So you become the same category of Krishna from this process of surrender. Before I finish with this philosophical part, I'll just take a couple of reflections to bring the energy in a different direction. So just reflect back anything that you heard so far that's stuck in your mind, that you found useful. Yes? Oh, thank you. But don't wait too long, because... Yeah. Reflections first. But because it's you, you can ask a question.
Mike?
Okay, give him the mic. Vaisesika.
Thank you.
Okay, if you'll pass that over.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, when we talk about Brahmin initiation, what are the qualities the disciple needs to aspire to and follow?
Thank you for your question. I'll let the prospective initiates answer that question, because we asked them to study very carefully several books and documents. Well, at least one book. Sorry, I didn't mean to freak you out. One book, and also several documents describing, and to take a quiz based on what are the qualities of a brahmana. So let them prove themselves. Pass the mic and okay.
So, I think it's Bhagavad Gita 18:24. One should be peaceful, one should be tolerant, one should be humble, one should be wise, one should display religiosity.
You can call a friend.
Truthfulness.
Good. So
Tolerance.
expound on one of those.
1842.
1842. Good, Brahmanas. Brahmanas work together too. This is one of the most important qualities of a Brahmana, is that you cooperate. Because it's so easy. I mean, someone could take Brahman initiation and then say, I'm really special now, so I don't need anybody else. This happens sometimes. Even sometimes people take the Bhakti Shastri test and say, I don't need to sweep the floor. I'm a great scholar. In fact, we've put out an edict that at ISV, if you pass the Bhakti Shastri test and get your diploma, if you claim such things, then we'll revoke the diploma. So take one of the qualities and please expound upon it. Expound.
I think as one of the Shiksha Ashtakam verse which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have given, that one should, I'm talking about tolerance, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that one should be as tolerant as a tree. So, when a Brahmana is a tolerant person, then only he can preach to other people, because as we go out for book distribution, we meet so many people. They are going through, so many difficult conditions, and if we are not tolerant, then it's not possible. So until unless one is not tolerant, as humble as a tree, or as humble as a blade of grass, we cannot go, or we cannot take to this process. That's one of the must quality a Brahmana should display.
Very good. I would add, what to speak of living with a spouse. Because, you may go door to door and then come home and slam the door on you. In anger, and not learn how to apologize when you do say something wrong. So it works at home. It's not something just demonstrative in the devotional community, but it's a holistic process. We actually really do have to become deeply humble and learn to tolerate any kind of inconveniences. The greatest inconvenience comes, correct me if I'm wrong, through our relationships with others in this world, because people don't always cooperate with the way we want things to go. They have completely different ideas. So it is, I really like that you brought that up. And I would say that it comes out in a very sweet and very clear way in one of Prabhupada's teachings in the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He translates the verse, Mahat sevam dvarabahurva muktes tamodvaram yoshitam sangi sangam mahantaste chita prashanta vimanyavak surida saravoye. This verse says that the door to liberation comes by association with great souls. Those people who have these qualities you're describing. And then in the word for word, the vimanyavak. Vimanyavak, Prabhupada translates as being tolerant, and he says that one should tolerate even in the face of provocation when one goes out to teach Krishna consciousness to others. So this is a much revered quality, even if people don't know it at first. If they're angry or intolerant towards you, you should set the example. We need to set the example in human society that we learn how to tolerate and to be humble. So these are a couple of the qualities. Does that help? Thank you. One more reflection and then we'll move on to the last part of the monologue. Yes, you may.
I like the part where you said that you cannot hurry love.
Actually, I didn't say that. It's Diana Ross. But anyway, go ahead.
It's a gradual process, and it takes its own time. We shouldn't try to rush it, but we should kind of invest consciously in that.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, and in the beginning, we're performing service that is based on buddhi, intelligence. It may not be based on love. It's based on the fact that we've understood through our intelligence that we're not our body and that the ultimate goal of life is spiritual. Okay, so I have one more little section to describe, but before I go on, I'd like you all to stand up just for a minute and stretch, because there's a little ways to go, and you can't think if you... Okay, so raise your hands in the air, high, in the air, and say Haribol. Okay, now try raising your hands in the air again, really high, and say Gauranga. One more time, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now try saying it loud one time, 1, 2, 3. That was semi-loud, but I guess it'll do for now. And yeah, just move around for a second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Okay. Okay, we could sit. Everyone okay? Yes. 3 people. All right. So we described tapa, pandra, nama, then mantra. Mantra means that when you get the second initiation, means you also take these esoteric mantras as your life and soul. And these are a part of the process of Krishna consciousness called the Panchratrik Vidhi, in which there are actual ways in which, these mantras are mantras that are realized in deep meditation by great sages and then revealed through disciplic succession. And we have a series of these mantras which have been passed down, including the Gayatri mantra, which is, all of these mantras are like, they are deities. And when you say the mantras 3 times a day, which you'll be doing those who are taking second initiation, you stop whatever you're doing 3 times a day and you take 5 minutes to recite the mantras and meditate upon them and come in contact with the Lord through these sacred mantras. And they will they will reveal themselves to you as you live a pure life. You continue chanting Hare Krishna, and they will also help you in your chanting of Hare Krishna. And this is one of the main purposes of the Panchratrik Vidhi. Anyone can attain perfection by chanting Hare Krishna. But in the age of Kali Yuga, because of inherent and ongoing contamination due to the age, it's necessary to have a way to stay in a pure state while chanting Hare Krishna. Because it's not just chanting Hare Krishna, but it's chanting Hare Krishna without committing the offenses against the holy name that delivers one. And one of the ways that our acharyas have arranged for us to be able to do that effectively in the age of Kali is to do the chanting of Hare Krishna alongside of Panchratrik Vidhi, which means chanting these esoteric mantras, and then the final of the 5 that I'm mentioning in the process of initiation is called yaga, or worshipping the deity. Technically, one doesn't worship the deity of the Lord until one has received the second initiation, because the worship of the deity includes mula mantras, through which one approaches the Lord and offers one's obeisances and properly enters within the process given in the Archana Paddhati. And after one has taken the second initiation, one has the privilege of then fully performing the duties of deity worship. And when one does that, it helps to fix the mind and senses on Krishna and gives one the wherewithal to chant purely. And anyone who's done deity worship knows that it's a very purifying process. When you go on the altar to worship the Lord, a great privilege, there's a very cool and calm atmosphere, a transcendental atmosphere, where you see the features of the Lord. And in the mood of service, then you feel a very sweet communion with Krishna in his form, which is not different from himself, and especially in the form of Archa, or the deity in which he's agreed to, the form in which he's agreed to accept our worship. Those who have put the Lord to rest, putting him in his pajamas, putting out some sweet for him, saying prayers in the evening time, walk away from that process feeling transcendently absorbed. So this, along with chanting Hare Krishna, is compared to 2 tracks for the train to run on, so that we can steadily advance our human lives towards the ultimate destination, going back to Godhead. very, anyway, these are the 5 steps so that you can understand that initiation is an ongoing and progressive path for going back to Godhead. So congratulations to all of you who are taking second initiation today, and for those of you who are taking the Harinam initiation today. Now, this is as I said at the beginning, a garden, and the gardeners are are the ones who oversee the plants and make sure that they grow, help to take out the weeds and so forth. So from this little house, and there was a house like this that I wouldn't have been able to tell the difference just because they're in different places. It looked just like this previously. Devotees started congregating, learning how to chant Hare Krishna, distribute books and so forth, and are taking initiation. So Loka and Vidarbha have been working on this garden very diligently for a long time, and of course are here tonight. And if you both say a few words to inspire us all, and especially the initiates.
It's always a overwhelming experience to attend an initiation ceremony, to see devotees taking serious vows. All I can say is they feel like we are in some way contributing to their growth, but we feel humbled by their dedication and by your sincerity and by your depth of devotion, and we feel carried by that. We feel carried by the Sangha, by this association. We always desired a community where we could sit and hear Bhagavatam. I remember Lokadarshana would always talk about it, and Prabhupada's been very kind, and we now have a community where, we just have to say, yeah, let's come together to hear Bhagavatam, and everyone's always very enthusiastic. So it's a real privilege, and I guess just want to thank you all for letting us be part of your journey. So it's a real honor, and thank you for engaging us, keeping us here. If you guys weren't here, probably we would be running all over the planet, so they keep us rooted and engaged, and they remind us of Prabhupada's mercy, and they remind us of Prabhupada's power and potency, and we just, we see them as your representatives, and we see them as Srila Prabhupada's representatives, and we just pray that we can continue to serve you all, and continue to associate with each one of you. Each one of you is such a precious jewel. Whenever we go out, book distribution, door to door, or street sankirtan, I always think, like, what would it take for one person to become like any one of the people who are here? And it just feels like it's such a long journey from the time that we meet someone on the streets on a particular door, and then somehow they make their way on a Friday night, and then they come again on a second Friday night, and they pick up the beads for the first time, and then to see them, it's amazing. How does that happen? It's definitely not us, that is for sure. So it's amazing to witness that mercy and to see the power of Srila Prabhupada's movement and his devotees and his process and his books, the Hare Krishna mantra. Somehow he's allowing us to witness that, and that keeps us going. So.
Just like to thank Prabhu and Mataji for being the soil and the sun that makes this garden happen, and the water. Without you and your guidance and your mercy, we'd be all lost. And I'd like to thank all of you for taking this process seriously. And as we see, taking this process is hard, and taking it seriously is harder. And taking the mission of Lord Chaitanya as your life and soul is extremely hard. So, you guys have demonstrated by your example day in and day out to dedicate your life to the mission of Srila Prabhupada and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that dedication is very rare, and it amplifies in our heart when we see your inspiration. Just like the gopis would leave their family members and run after Krishna's flute. You guys also leave everything, and on a festival day or whatever day, you leave everything and run to the call of Lord Chaitanya. So that is an example for the whole world, not for us, and we feel very privileged to be in that association of intense hearing, chanting, taking shelter of Guru and Shastra, and that is an example that inspires us to improve our own sadhana, improve our own devotion and dedication. So thank you all. Thank you all for being in our lives and taking care of us. Hare Krishna.
Before you were talking? Yes.
I just wanted to also express my deepest appreciation and gratitude. I don't think words are enough. After we read the Bhagavatam and Govardhan Keshavarti Maharaj said, words can just never express something so beautiful. And for us, you and Mataji's, when we met Mataji, we thought, we missed for so many years, we didn't have her association. So when we met her, we realized, that we were doubly lucky. And we just want to thank you both for just coming year after year. And I don't know what kind of causes. We were just talking about it just this morning, that all we tried to do was just go out on the mall in Washington, D.C. with no lines, no knowledge of what we were trying to do. And Krishna manifested you both in our lives just from that little, little scribble of a little child. There was nothing really we knew what to do. And then Lokadaksha was saying that he had this realization that maybe if we just continue like that, then from this, we've met you both, and now from this, we don't know what else awaits us, but it gives us so much hope that, just some very imperfect endeavor allowed us to meet you both and have you in our lives. So I don't even know how to thank you both, but just thank you. And please always keep us at your, under your shelter.
Hare Krishna. Go ahead. Nanda Vrindavan, Prabhu has come here to witness the ceremony. And I'd say more, but we thank you very much for being here. And would you say a few words to encourage the initiates?
Hare Krishna. It's a great honor to be here, and I wish you all inspiration, faith, and energy on your spiritual journey. Initiation is the beginning, and it's a long game, so keep it balanced, keep your life balanced, to have your energy for the most important work, the work of growing spiritually and actually changing yourself. And do it with kindness and with care, with attention, and take it seriously. Take your practice and your living of your practice seriously. But don't take yourself too seriously. Right.
Did Lakshmivan Prabhu escape?
No, he's right here.
Where is he? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vaisesika. Thank you, Yakula Mataji, for being here and for inviting us all. And for bringing Srila Prabhupada's presence here. It's Srila Prabhupada's presence that is the core attractive force for all of us. And Srila Prabhupada has brought us the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, and he's brought us the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the Shastras say Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Hoy, Eka Lava Matra, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. So to all the devotees who are getting initiated, now you've got the most valuable thing that anybody can get at any time in their life, which is the association of a devotee who will teach you about Srila Prabhupada, who will teach you about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and especially teach you about how to serve those great personalities. And as you go on in life, there may be other things that might distract you at various times. But always remember that the most valuable thing that any human being could ever get is what you're receiving today. And always come back to that, and always consider it your most precious treasure. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Nirkula, Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I pray that Lord Nrsimhadev protects you always, that he removes any obstacles in your way on your spiritual paths, that you always have the association of the Vaishnavas, that your taste for hearing, chanting, reading, and distributing this knowledge to others goes on increasing, and that the friendships that you have developed with each other, which I love to see, it's so nice, it's so important in your spiritual lives to have these friendships. You can depend on each other, and I hope they continue also to deepen and be of support to you all. Thank you for taking up this mission and helping Prabhu in spreading Krishna consciousness. It's what he lives and breathes, and you are all doing so much to assist him in his service to Srila Prabhupada. From the bottom of my heart, I wish you great success in everything you do. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Where's the certificates?
Excuse me?
Where are the
I'm
certificates?
going to get them right behind you.
I don't need that.
The initiates will, right?
Okay. Nirkula is getting some certificates, proof of purchase. I'd like to give certificates because I realized several years ago that sometimes it's hard to. The gain is a little high on this. Could it go down just to 10? That sometimes you may have to prove that you're initiated, and your word might not be enough for people. It's amazing how time erases memories. So having a certificate is something I started to do many years ago. And when Malati Prabhu was staying at our house, she saw us getting certificates ready and then asked what they were, and I told her, and she said, "Oh, Prabhupada had wanted that early on." And I think she said he did it for a while, but it was hard to maintain, so it didn't continue. So we felt supported in that. So for those who are taking second initiation, oftentimes in the ceremony it's a little bit anticlimactic because we don't give you anything except for "I'll see you later" and tell you the mantra. So for this ceremony, we're going to invite the second initiates first to come up one by one and accept the certificate. We'll need a couple of Brahmin's threads too, Loka, if you have them. That will add to the pageantry. 3 Brahmin threads. Padam padam yampi padam. And as we're in this last flurry of managerial activity, I just say that Prabhupada describes ISKCON to be like a corporation, or actually, more rightly, he describes Lord Chaitanya's movement to be like a corporation. And he says, just as in a corporation, when you distinguish yourself through your service and your steady approach to the practice, there's a way in which, correct me if I'm wrong, you get promoted. Right? So you start in the mailroom. If you do a really good job down there, people start talking about you, they put you on the first floor. You organize all the cabinets, and people notice that you're doing things right, and they put you on the third floor, and then you keep moving until you get more and more service. And Prabhupada says that this is Lord Chaitanya's arrangement. So those who take Brahminical initiation, especially, of course any devotee, but that this is a very special acknowledgement of one's mature practice in devotional service. So there's something also expected, and that is that one will take more responsibility to help spread the Krishna consciousness movement. Responsibility is oftentimes a thankless task, taking responsibility. None Vrindavan? Thankless task sometimes? However, it's a labor of love to help to hold together a group of Goshti Nandis who often are going in all different directions and have differences of opinion on everything. It's the nature of living entities, not just devotees. So please take it as an invitation to be more daring and active in your service. Take more responsibility and risk, because the things that we have in this world will naturally be taken away anyway, and the more we can dedicate them preemptively to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and our time and energy preemptively to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the more it shows our actual realization of our eternal position, and the more it helps us to come closer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I hope I didn't describe that in too abstract of terms. What I'm really trying to say is, step up and do more. Do more as far as taking responsibility, leadership especially. Be leaders, and don't be afraid, because Krishna will help you when you do that. Is that okay?
Yes.
Everyone think that's okay, say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I think everyone said it. So one by one you can come up. If we can move this a few inches the other way so there's room, they can offer obeisances, which is customary at right here. Offer your obeisances, and then we'll give you the certificate. And we first call Denu Tarpita Prabhu. Denu Tarpita Prabhu and Somyadatri started here, and then moved to Philadelphia, and then to New Jersey. And in their wake, wherever they've gone, they've shown by example and by active teaching how to expand the Sankirtan movement. Distinguished themselves by developing the Sankirtan party in Philadelphia, and now with two Vaishnavas who are coming into their own, came as a package deal, twins. They're showing example as parents, and also integrating into their life as they're doing that, and they're very demanding professional jobs, how to continue very steadily in the practice of devotional service, and then increase their service as well. So it's this is your Brahminical thread and a certificate, and I'll only read the first one because they all say the same thing for the Brahmins. Just so you get an idea of what's on here. It looks like this. And here it says, Denutarpita Das, received mantra diksha from Vaisesika Das Adhikari December 20th, 2018, Germantown, Maryland, USA. The potency of chanting the Gayatri mantras is expressed in these 3 verses from Brahma Samhita. Quote, "Then the goddess of learning, Saraswati, the divine consort of the Supreme Lord, said thus to Brahma, who saw nothing but gloom in all directions, O Brahma, this mantra, Kling Krishnai Govindai Gopijana Balabhaya Swaha, will assuredly fulfill your heart's desire. O Brahma, do thou practice spiritual association by means of this mantra, then all your desires will be fulfilled. Enlightened by the recollection of that Gayatri embodying the 3 Vedas, Brahma became acquainted with the expanse of the ocean of truth. Then he worshipped Sri Krishna, the essence of all Vedas, with this hymn." And after this public ceremony, I'm going to meet with the second initiates, and I will speak the mantras as I receive them from Srila Prabhupada into your right ears, each individually, and then you'll be saying the mantras 3 times a day. So I'll explain how to do all that later. With a deep appreciation in my heart for your service and with prayers for your success on all levels, I hereby award you this second initiation in Diksha. Everybody who thinks this... Very good, only a little more for the next ones. In fact, a little more for Denutarpita. Means louder. Soumya Dasri Devi Dasi. First time I noticed you was when we were on book distribution, and we were going door to door somewhere here and in this area, and I saw that you were watching with rapt attention. I always noticed that, and very enlivened to be on book distribution, and have become very happy to come to know you. Every time I met you, as I was coming to know you, I noticed attention to detail and your intensity of purpose and devotional service but in a very sattvic way, the way you've expressed it. And the 2 of you working together have set an example how to go through this life in its different phases and keep up with a high level of practice of devotional service. So it's very heartfelt today to hand you this certificate and award you the second initiation into the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Everyone who wishes unlimited blessings on Soumya Datri Devi Dasi, please say Hare Krishna. Prem Dam Das. Prem Dam Prabhu has distinguished himself as a person who will drop everything and come for service whenever there's a call for service. And in a very sober, steady way, you've continued your practice of devotional service and endeared yourself to the entire society of devotees, what to speak of to me and Nirkula. So I pray for your success on all levels, and everyone who wishes unlimited blessings on Prem Dham and wishes him to succeed on all levels, please say Hare Krishna. Sham Bhakti Devi Dasi. The first time I noticed you was in Denver, Colorado. I saw somebody whose smile lit up the room, and I was wondering who that was, and then Tushta Krishna told me my good fortune that I was going to have the privilege of being connected to you through the process of initiation. And I've always been enlivened by that, by your enthusiasm and the way the two of you work together as a team, the way you're raising Keshava and everything, all the service that you do in cooperation with the local community. It's been exemplary in all ways, and I deeply appreciate it. So it was very heartfelt today that I give you this second initiation into the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, praying that Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees will shower you with their blessings, and everyone who agrees that unlimited blessings should be showered upon her head, please say Hare Krishna. Okay, Madana Murari. Jaya Keshava Madana Murari Hari Sham Shama Sham. This is one of my favorite names. And the spirit of that bhajan and the way it makes your heart sing is the feeling I always get when I see you, Madana Murari Prabhu. I remember how we first met. I think it was in probably Loka's old house, or was in this one? This one, yeah, okay. So I think your wife was leading the way as far as enthusiasm for devotional service. And then when the two of you came into harmonic convergence with the idea of surrender to Krishna, you really made a huge difference. You've made a huge difference here in the community with your steady service and the two of you working together. So it's a joy to see you growing up here in Krishna consciousness and going through the various phases of your life, through the process of surrender. And therefore it's my profound honor to offer you this second initiation today. And everyone who agrees with the sentiment of offering unlimited blessings that they may pour down upon his head, please say Hare Krishna. Radhika Nam Devi Dasi. Radhika Nam, I was introduced to you by Vidarbha here in this house, and she had told me about you, and when I met you I could see what she was talking about, that you're a personification of enthusiasm. You had a strong determination to advance in devotional service, and you've kept that up for many, many years and set an example through service and surrender. And I was remembering this morning when we were talking here at the house how deeply you think about the process of Krishna consciousness. Your questions reveal the depth to which you've considered the process and why you're doing it. It's not sentiment. You think about it very deeply. And I really appreciate that about you. So it is a great privilege to know you and to be instrumental in connecting you to the Parampara. I pray to Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, they may all continue to shower you with unlimited blessings. And everyone that's here present today who agrees with this idea that I've just put forward, please say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Tarini Ganga, Devi Dasi. Now, when I think of the spice of life, you think of art, aesthetic beauty, and really a happy spirit. And all of you, I think of you two all as one group, because you've been together for so long. Tarni Ganga, you've brought so much joy to everybody through the way you look at life artistically, and you bring, on one side, you bring what seems to be like a simple disposition, but you're so sophisticated in the way you express it through your artistic renderings. And I couldn't imagine the world without you. And I deeply appreciate how you've brought light to this whole Sangha, and you continue to do so throughout the world. And therefore it's a great privilege and honor to be instrumental in bringing you closer to Krishna through the Parampara. And I pray on this day that Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna may continue to shower you with his blessings and inspire you to surrender and go back home, back to Godhead. And everyone that's present here today, or online for that matter, who agrees with this, if you're online, open your window and shout out the window. Please say Hare Krishna.
You might want to mention her husband being supportive.
Tarni Ganga, I also want to mention how your husband has been so supportive in helping you to maintain this very rigorous process of devotional service. If it wasn't for him, it would be very, very difficult. I've seen many situations where one or the other spouse tries to make it difficult. But you have such a sweet heart, and you're so supportive. And this kind of support and sweetness is non-different from pure devotional service. Supporting those who are engaging in pure devotional service is non-different from pure devotional service. So all of us here in this assembly, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Hare Krishna. Akshina Mangala Devi Dasi. Akshina Mangala is a very accomplished person in all ways, through education, through her practice of Krishna consciousness, through the way she's conducted her family life, through the way that she lives, the way she cooks, everything about you. But you exhibit the greatest humility, and this is a very attractive feature that everyone appreciates about you. And we thank you very, very much for your steadiness over the years. You've participated in all the yatras. You do service here, there, and everywhere in this assembly. And you've greatly distinguished yourself in the process of devotional service. And we all feel your presence very deeply from the bottom of our hearts. So it's a great honor on this day of your initiation to offer you the second initiation. And we pray that Srila Prabhupada and all the great acharyas will continue to bless you with their mercy so that you can progress unimpeded on your path back home, back to Godhead. And everyone who is present here today, please, if you agree with this, please say Hare Krishna.
You might want to mention her husband too.
Akshina Mangala's husband has also been unlimitedly supportive. He is a gentle soul who's been always supportive in your practice of devotional service. And we thank him from the bottom of our hearts. Hare Krishna. Bhakti Lata Devi Dasi. Now, if there was ever a Rocky story, and I'm not talking like a Rocky Road, I'm talking about Rocky Balboa, which many of you might not know, but it's a great classic American movie about a man who rises to the top by great determination. And you represent to me and to everybody else this great determination. I remember when we first met, and you were finding it was difficult for you to find time to do devotional service because of the great endeavor you had to do to take care of your daughter. And step by step, through sheer determination, you stuck in and associated with devotees. You practiced the tenets of bhakti to your capacity at the time, whatever it was. And we watched you step by step move up in strength and stature in devotional service to come to this point of second initiation. Despite any obstacle, you crushed every obstacle by steadily maintaining this simple process of bhakti without deviating ever. And we also thank your husband too, who has been so helpful. And we thank you very, very much from the bottom of our hearts. You can see from his smile that says everything of what comes from his heart as he supports his wife and the rest of us by always encouraging and being an advocate for our Sangha here. So, what a great day to see you here taking second initiation, isn't it? I mean, this is so nice. Come on. Really. Nicola and I take great inspiration from you and your husband, and so do all the devotees here. And this is just, a momentous day for us. And so from the bottom of my heart, I pray to Srila Prabhupada, to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to all the acharyas, to continue to bless you in unlimited ways, in amazing ways, and that your path back to Godhead may go unimpeded. Everyone who agrees with this, please say Hare Krishna. Now you'll notice something. The color of the certificates has changed. That means that we're moving to the first initiates, and first initiates today, we'll start with Anita, Bhakti Anita. You are undoubtedly one of the stalwarts in this whole community, and showing by example how to go through the different phases of your life, whatever they may be. And everyone in every phase of life will face some complexity. That's the nature of this world. It's full of bewildering complexities that come out of nowhere, and we're really not compatible with material nature. It doesn't fit our nature at all, no matter what we do. What to speak of the major reversals we may experience in our life. You've shown us the example in your life of how to take shelter of Krishna despite the greatest kinds of adversities. And we've been looking forward to this day for so long, to see you. I mean, we knew it was coming, because we saw you weren't stopping. And anyone who says, I'm not stopping the process of Krishna consciousness, will be victorious. Param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. This is the means by which one becomes victorious. There is no other way. You have to take shelter of God, and there's a specific process by which to do that. And you followed it, and you followed it to the letter. And so we're so happy for you. So we have, what? This is my friend. Sorry, I have something special I say for first initiates. And it happens to me on my phone. If you would be so kind to tell us which vows you've come here to proclaim before Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta the deities, all these Vaishnavas, everybody online, the fire, the 4 directions, or how many directions are there? Many others. What are the vows that you're feeling in your heart that you're going to express today?
Well, I just
Hold it really close. We want this for the record.
I just want to commit myself and surrender completely to your lotus feet and to Krishna, and I just would want to continue with whatever directions you give me, Guru Maharaj. And at present I'm so lost that I cannot even think of anything other than just what you guide me, what you direct me to do. So I would just like to continue with the at least a minimum of 16 sounds every day.
16 rounds.
Yeah.
Japa Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Hare Krishna mantra, and follow the 4 regulative principles.
So start it off with say, I vow to
I vow to
chant
at
least, and then I'll leave the rest.
at least 16 rounds every day, and follow the 4 regulative principles.
Okay.
That is, not eating meat, and then no gambling.
Meat, fish, or eggs. No meat, fish, or eggs.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Not that you ever think of it, but I'm just for the record. Okay, go ahead.
and no gambling,
Correct.
no intoxication,
Good.
and no illicit sex.
Good vows. Very nice. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. I hereby joyfully award you the name Achyuta Radhe Devi Dasi. Abhijit Prabhu, I first started hearing about you from the devotees in Texas when you were in Dallas. My best friend Keshav Bharti Maharaj had high regard for you, and when I started, when you connected with me, you talked to me, I started asking the devotees in Dallas about you, and they were all very impressed by your level of dedication. You come from a Vaishnava background, and you've been steadily practicing the tenets of bhakti for well over a year, or at least I've been connected to you for well over a year while you've been practicing, but you were before that. And now wherever you've gone, you've also continued that process despite the fact that you have a demanding schedule and many other things to do. And I've found you to be a very thoughtful person, especially when you're considering how to absorb your life in the process of devotional service, which I've greatly appreciated. So everyone here today, I'm sure, speaking on your behalf, is eager to hear the vows that you've come here to make today. So please articulate which vows are you going to follow for the rest of your life.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. On this day, I'm here to promise you and make a vow that I would at least chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra attentively for 16 rounds at least every day. I would also follow the 4 regulative principles of not eating any meat, fish or eggs, to not indulge in any form of gambling, to not intoxicate, and to not have illicit sex. And also I promise you today I won't criticize any devotees moving forward, and I would keep Srila Prabhupada teachings through his books in the center of my life.
Thank you very much. You reminded me that I'd like to also add on a few things. And one is that all of you that I have any connection or influence over, I humbly ask you to consider devotees favorably, no matter, even if they have a different opinion from you. You may work towards talking to them about working out your differences, but please don't become angry and criticize them. And don't partake in criticism of devotees behind their back, and especially don't do any of it on the internet or in writing, because it's very destructive to the whole community. Avoid it and help others avoid it if possible too, by setting an example. Also, I request you to please be on a schedule to read Prabhupada's books. Know that when you're going to finish them, and keep it up throughout your lives, because that is our mainstay in devotional service. Prabhupada speaks to us through his divine purports, and they're astounding, and they're nourishing, and they give us that connection to Prabhupada more than anything else in this world. So all of you, please read Prabhupada's books in a regular, scheduled way, along with the other vows that you keep, and that will help you to sustain your vows throughout this lifetime. Is that okay? If you all agree, please say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Your vows are very nice, thank you. Following the eternal principle of Parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy, the mercy of the previous Acharyas, and all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are like desire trees, I'm exceedingly pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore a grand disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous Acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you with their grace. Your name is actually a name that's mentioned several times in the Bhagavatam, and it's a name that's kind of a nickname that's given to great souls like Vidura and others. And it means one who's able to conquer all enemies, beginning with the internal enemies, pushing us at the senses and so forth. I hereby joyfully award you the name Arindama Das. Hare Krishna. Arindama Das Prabhu Ki. Just one other thing is, again, I want to thank Loka and Vidarbha for creating this environment in which we can all come together and advance in devotional service. They've been instrumental in helping all of us to do this. We thank Ananda Vrindavan Prabhu for being a stalwart in maintaining the Krishna consciousness movement and the facility that you make available to all of us and the example. And we ask everyone to please, throughout your life, cooperate with the great institution of ISKCON so that it can be a success all over the world. It's the greatest hope for the world to bring Krishna consciousness to everyone's doorstep in many different languages so that they can take advantage of the human form of life. Hare Krishna. And having... Yes? We have a special service in which we'll hold on to your beads and your certificates during the yajna. Otherwise, you'll have to manifest 2 more hands. And that may happen after the yajna, but if you want... No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. So Nirkula will hold these for you so that while you're throwing grains and so forth. Another suggestion, humble suggestions, as far as logistics go. Those of you who are sitting in the back row, it's a long shot to hit the fire with the grains. So rather than hitting your colleagues in the back of the head, there's a way in which when the swaha and you offer the grains like this, like a little deer, you can put it into the bowl that's next to you, the empty bowl, and then afterwards we'll put it into the fire, okay? And those of you who are in the front row, you can represent us all and put the grains right into the fire, okay? Yeah, okay, good. And now, tiny is small is better, yeah. Okay, so now we'd like to hand over the rest of the ceremony to our head priest to initiate the fire ceremony.
Hari Om Om Shamna Mitra Shvakarnaha Shamana Bharatamaha Shamna Indra Brihaspate Shamana Vishnu Namo Brahmane Namaste Vaya Tameva Prataksham Brahmashme Tameva Prataksham Brahma Vadiswami Ritam Vadiswami Satyam Vadiswami Tannam Avatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avotu Bhaktaram Om Shanti 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 Om Sthaya Spat Om Apavitra Pavitra Va Sarvavastam Gato Vivasa Smarit Pundari Kaksha Shavalya Abhantra Shuchihe Om Namo Shuchi Namo Shuchi Namo Shuchihe Om Ete Gandho Pushpe Om Sridepa Narayanaaya Namo Namaha Om Sivarunaha Iha Gacha Iha Gacha Iha Tishta Iha Tishta Iha Shannidehi Iha Shannidasha Iha Shanmukho Bhavaham Om Edam Shorasha Upacharaha Pakalpitam Samarpayami Shri Varunaya Namo Namaha Om Abhishakshanaya Namo Namaha Om Idamasanam Samarpayami Om Om Eshadhopaha Dashvami Om Vishikshanaaya Namaha Om Eshadhopaha Dashvami Varunaya Namo Namaha Om Gandho Dvaradra Dashtam Nittavashtam Karisham Ishwaram Sarvabhutanam Pariha Pahavareshpriyam Om Vanaspate Dashedibhya Shugandho Shumanohara Maya Nivedatam Bhaktam Dopayam Pratigajyatam Om Tadavishnu Paramam Padam Sadapishwanti Shuryaha Devi Vachakshuratatam Tadavipra Sahaviparanavajagdravam Shishamindad Vishnu Yat Paramam Padam Hari Om Om Sri Vaishnavanamadneya Gachaya Gachaya Tishtaya Tishtaya Yashanire Yashanire Yashanirudasya Yashanirudasya Yasanmukho Bhavaya Sanmukho Bhavaham Om Edam Shodashapacharaha Kalpitam Om Ete Gandhapushpam Vishnavanamagne Namo Namaha Om Edam Nanaha Dirashadrikta Phaladravya Naividyam Samagram Samarpayami Om Sri Vaishnavanamadne Namo Namaha ओम एष धूपय दर्शयामि ओम श्री विष्णुनामाग्ने नमो नमः ओम गन्धदुर्गरादिष्टं नित्यपुष्टिं करिष्यम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तय्यपवरेश्यम् अननधूपिनं दर्शयामि ओम श्री विष्णुनामाग्ने नमो नमः ओम एदं कर्पूरदीपं दर्शयामि ओम एष कर्पूरदीपं दर्शयामि ओम श्री विष्णुनामाग्ने नमो नमः ओम शिवप्रकाश महादीपं शत्रं स्थिविलापः सर्वाभ्यन्तरं दीपं चतुर्दीपं दर्शयामि ओम श्री विष्णुनामाग्ने नमो नमः ओम तद्विष्णु परममृतं श्राविष्णन्ति शूरयः दिवेव चक्षुरा ततम् Hare Krishna. So now we'll do the Mangalacharan Homam. I will chant first and then you just repeat after me. Okay. Om Ajnanam Timirandhasyam Jnananjanam Shalakayam Chakshurur Militam Jenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Swaha 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 Edam Gurave Edam Namamaham Sri Chaitanyam Manobhishtam Sthapitam Janabhutale Swayam Rupam Padamayyam Dadatisham Padantikam Swaha 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 Edam Vyasacharya Edam Namamaham Vandeyaham Shri Gurum Shri Jutam Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangsyan Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahaganam Raghunathar Nitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Varijanam Shahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitansya Swaha 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 Idam Guru Garai Radha Krishna Bhyam Sarva Vishnu Tattebhyam Idam Namamaham Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Vaisesika Dasa Iti Namine Namam Prahasyam Shilayam Prabhupadam Anusharinem Aninditam Hriday Tasmai Shastram Bhajanaha Chodane Swaha Swaha व्याघ्रभ्यैदं नाम महान् नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने स्वाहा 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 एदं प्रतिष्ठिताचार्याय इदं नाम महान् नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य दशतारिणे स्वाहा 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 इदं प्रतिष्ठिताचार्याय इदं नाम महान् नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वते इति नामिने स्वाहा 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 इदं परं गुरवे इदं नाम महान् श्रीवत्सभानवी देवी दैताय कृपब्धये कृष्ण सम्बन्धान् विज्ञानान् दायिने प्रभवे नमः स्वाहा 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 एदं परं गुरवे इदं नाम माधुर्य उज्ज्वलम् प्रेमाढ्यं श्रीरूपानुगां भक्तिदां श्रीगौरां करुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्तुते स्वाहा 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 एदं परं गुरुवे इदं नाम नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमुत्वये दिनतारिणे श्रीरूपानुगां विरुद्धापां सिद्धान्तां भक्तहारिणे स्वाहा 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 एदं परं गुरुवे इदं नाम नम गौरां यशारायां साक्षात् वैराग्यं मूर्तये विप्रलम्भां प्रशम्भोदें पदं भोजायते नमः स्वाहा 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 इदं परत्रा गुरवे इदं नाम नमो भक्ते विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्द नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगां वरायते स्वाहा 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 एदं महागुरवेदं नाम श्री गौरां आविर्भावं भूमिस्थं निद्दिष्टं सज्जनप्रियं वैष्णवं सर्वभौमं श्री जगन्नाथं अते नमः स्वाहा 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 एदं परमेष्टे गुरुवेदं नाम वंशकल्पं तरुवस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्यं एव च पतितानं अहोनिभ्यं वैष्णवेभ्यः नमो नमः स्वाहा 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 एदं सर्ववैष्णवतत्तेभ्यमिदं नाम नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतिशे नमः स्वाहा 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 एदं गौराय पंचतत्त्वम् आत्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपं स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्तक्षं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं स्वाहा 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 एदं पंचतत्त्वा एदं नाम महा हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कंत श्री राधा कंत नमस्तुते स्वाहा 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 एदं कृष्णाय एदं नमः जयतं शूरतो पंगन् ममो मंदं मतिर्गते मत्सर्वस्यां पदं भोजो श्रीराधा मदनमोहनो स्वाहा 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 ॐ एदं शम्बदेव मदन्मोहनाय एदं नाम महां दिव्यद्बिन्दां रन्नौ कल्पं ध्रुमाधौ श्रीमान् रत्नगारं सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीराधां श्रीरघुविन्ददिव्यं स्थलेभ्यं सेव्यमाना स्मरामि स्वाहा 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 एदं अभिदेवादिदेव गोविन्दाय एदं नाम महां श्रीमन्राशां रसारम्भे वंशीवाटां तटस्थितः कश्चन वेणो शनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथं श्रियस्तु नः स्वाहा 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 एदं प्रजनादिदेव गोपीनाथाय एदं नाम महा तप्त कंचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु शुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये स्वाहा 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 एदं राधिकाय एदं नाम महं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद स्वाहा 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 एदं पंचतत्त्वा एदं नाम महा. Now all together we'll chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Swaha 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 Edam Radha Krishna Bhyam Edam Namamaham. You can now kind of stand up. Everyone, take the bananas from your plates and just push back the plates a little bit of the other side and keep this space little empty, and you guys just move forward a little bit. We have to put the Hoban Kun in the middle. So then after Purnahoti we can do circumlating the production.
Give me that microphone. On the harmonium.
Okay, all the candidates just take the bananas and if you can give everyone, whoever present here, just a little bit of Hovan Samagri so they can also take part of the Purnahuti. Banana ko pakad ke rakhiye. So a plate can keep it in the bag. Some, oh yeah, आप लोग उसको भी पकड़ेंगे.
Oh, okay, so all the way back, who have the bowl hovan samagri, so you are holding that hovan samagri and bananas. Okay, yeah, and keep the other plates on the back side. Purnam Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevava Shirishvate Swaha. Give the banana on the side. Slowly side. Side.
An addendum, as I was remiss in mentioning Murli Prabhu, who has been so supportive for Chittaradhe throughout all these years. Everyone please to acknowledge him, say Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna!
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
The initiates will start by circumambulating the fire, and then they'll move out of the way and everybody else can. But it's best if you phase it in, otherwise you'll have a major traffic jam.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Jayam Vishnupad Brahmamsa Priraj Vichadya Stotra Shishimada Bhacharvada Bhaktivedanta Sai Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Brahmamsa Priraj Vichadya Stotra Shishimada Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Samaj Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindi Ki. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasani Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gokubinath Shyamukunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Vrindavan Ki. Shri Mayapur Navdeep Ki. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki. Jamuna Devi Gangi Devi Ki. Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. Gaur Premanande Hariyo. Vanchikalpadarvasya Kripasindameva Cha Patitanam Pavliyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Om Tat Sat.
Om Do Shantantarksha Shanti Om Apu Shanti Vai Shanti Teja Shanti Om Shadar Shanti Om Dede Rastu Shanti Rastu Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti. Goes to all the way end. Oh. जिधर नहीं गए आप उस तरफ अच्छे पीछे भी
Namaste Narashinghaya. Praladadadayane. Kashipur Vakshaha. Siddhatankanakalaye. Nishingha Parato Nishingo. Yato Yamitato Nishingha. Nishingaradei Nishingo. Singhavadin Sharanam Prabhu.
Go pray with
Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Look, is there prashadam? I got halfway through. I was thinking, what am I doing? Please come take prashadam. Hari Bo. So look as an announcement.
Thank you. Our deepest gratitude and thank you to Vaisesika Prabhu and Nirkula Mataji, our everything. So thank you so much from the bottom of our heart for taking care of us and nourishing us and inviting us all the way. So please take prashadam now and ready to go out on Sankirtan after that. I don't know.
Marman, Natari Marman, Natari Marman, Natari Marman, hey, Natari Marman, Natari Marman, Natari Marman, Natari Marman.